Captain on 0, bench guy on 9. Friends in the group chat, talking like kings. I'm stuck in the basement, breaking my screen. Delete the app before it breaks me first. Every trade I tap just makes it worse. I swear I'm done. I swear I'm gonna snap if one more player tags his calf.
Yes. Who's going to delete the app this week? Not me. I'm always here for the long haul. Welcome to Team List Tuesday, off the bench podcast, NRL Supercoach. For week, what are we up to? Week 10 already. We're more than a third of the way through the competition. Another 17 rounds to go. Another 17 rounds for us to endure the pain of getting our captain's choices wrong and getting all the shit in the world that you can possibly imagine go wrong. With me tonight, I have a very special guest joining me. Roscoe's not, he's been a bit flustered with a mountain of work at the moment, so we've called in a reserve off the bench. That's why we are off the bench. I've got Watto. Watto has been with us before and is very experienced, particularly at draft, but he loves his Supercoach. How you going there, Watto?
Yeah, good, Brad. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me along. You know, super sub, I'm happy to fill in whenever.
No, that's all right. That's good. I might just see. We might just have to turn your volume up on your microphone just a fraction, but not too much. But yeah, just a bit, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, see how that goes, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. So as we know, with Teamless Tuesday podcast, we go through each of the teams very quickly that are playing this weekend. And boy, we've got some funny things going on. How's your Supercoach season going? Up the shit like mine?
Yeah, mate, I'm having an absolute shocker. I didn't start off good at all. I've just been chasing my tail all season. I'm ranked like in the 80,000s. Just shocking.
I assume you don't have Semi or Jackson forward?
No, don't have Jackson forward, no. Yeah, yeah, mate, one that I missed the boat on.
Look, you know, if you manage to get Alex Twal, Jackson forward, and Semi Siago at the right time, you'd be laughing. But you know, there were so many red flags about all of them that it was very hard to. It was, you know, particularly Alex Twal. That one still has me feeling dirty just even considering him moving, getting him in. It's just. He was such a spud for so many years, and not a spud. He was just a really good toiler, but he was never that Supercoach relevant. And then all of a sudden this year, what's he taking, peptide juice or something, and he becomes Supercoach relevant.
Especially with all the offloads he's getting, it's just crazy, and the big motor and the minutes he's playing. It's insane. I looked at him in round 3. Another podcast I listened to, Weekly Rubdown, they were springing him up week 3, talking about how many offloads he's getting and that. And I was like, Alex Twal, I don't know about that. And then it slipped through the keepers, and I got him, but paid a premium for him, as we all did.
Yeah, it was well, hard not to. It was so you've got Alex Twal there?
Yes, I got Alex Twal. I got Sibi Sasangi. So they're two I've got, but I jumped on late, so better late than never, I guess, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, probably better than me because as I said, I don't have either one as yet. Just getting something right with our live feed. Just bear with me. Into Facebook for some reason. Yeah, that looks like it should. It should, hopefully. It should. Sorry, mate. Sorry, the Facebook feed is just not doing what it should.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that should get us off and running. So up there we have our first game. It's the Dolphins versus the Bulldogs. The Dolphins have sort of had a bit of a resurrection after their 52-point flogging at the hands of Manly. Jack Bostock has been named into the centres again. Brad Snyder at the moment is number 6. The other interesting one is Max Platt is at number 9. However, this is where it gets real interesting for the Dolphins. Ray Stone, Tom Gilbert, Kafusi, and Honran Keeley are the first 4 named interchanges. But after that, you've got one Cody Nikorima and Jeremy Marshall-King. I'm reckoning that Cody Nikorima probably will go into the starting side there. I think there's a very good chance of that. I don't know whether Bradley Snyder will retain his spot, but I reckon he'll see game time, which means one of those 4 forwards I mentioned will probably miss out. And I think Jeremy Marshall-King will get some game time, but Plath will start. That's just a feeling I've got. And for Canterbury, well, they're exactly the same in the back line. There doesn't look to be any changes there. And the forwards, nothing really changes there. Quite a few changes in there. The only real change is Tupanua and Josh Curran have swapped around. However, expect that probably to change on game day again. He has been doing that. He's been flipping and flopping there around. But the bench doesn't really look that strong. So I almost think that the Dolphins might get over the top here. How do you see this game there, Watto?
Yeah, mate, I agree with what you're saying there. I think that there's a good chance we'll see Nikorima come in and he'll switch with Snyder reverting to the bench. And yeah, I agree. I think that JMK will start on the bench and get a few minutes just to ease him back into it. And yeah, I think there's a good chance as well too that Sitili Tupanua and Curran switch will happen again this week. But yeah, keep an eye out for team lists closer before the cutoffs to keep an eye on those ones for changes.
Now, Jock Bostock is very heavily talked about in just about every chat I'm in. There's probably a reason that I'm not going to go there, but 504,000, I can understand why people would be going there. Are you having a look at him at all?
Well, especially with Fayamani out this week as well too with that injury, I think a lot of people are going to flock from Fayamani. You'd go into Bostock, especially with the Dolphins' bye schedule. It's quite a good bye schedule. He's one I'd give another week on. He's not gonna make you any cash this week, but it's something you can wait and look at next week. You could get injured in this game, and you're not even going to get a price rise out of him. So I'd just hold off a week.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just making sure that was working. That's good. All right. So the next game, as I said, look, there are some problems with both those teams with the upcoming buys. Don't forget we've got Origin buys about to hit us, and there are a few very friendly teams which I will point out as we're going through it. The Roosters versus the Titans. Personally, I think this is going to be a flogging, despite the fact the Roosters do have some personnel changes. Cody Ramsey comes in for Funky Marky Mark, who will be one of the most sold players this week. Hugo Savala retains his spot still in the centres. Angus Crichton is named, despite the fact he did have an MCL injury, apparently, to his knee. He might be. Look, he hasn't played that well all year anyway. I'd have very big doubts on him possibly starting, particularly when we have a look at that bench. Connor Watson, Egan Butcher, Nat Butcher, Salesi Faketi. Man, that bench, and you compare that to we'll go through the Titans in a minute, their bench, but they can you pronounce the new winger's name for the Titans?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
I'll give it a go. Jensen Tormo Piu. I don't know. Most people know I'm not fantastic with some of these names, but he comes in on the wing for Fayamamu, who is a sell, folks. So we got the news this afternoon. He's out for about 3 to 4 weeks at the price he's at. Cash in somewhere, or upgrade would be the good thing if you could. But that looks like we've got a new cheapie there. How long he stays around for, who knows? They do have a few cheapie options there that they can throw into the winger. The other really weird one is old Zane Harrison comes in to make his debut for the Titans for this year. Zane comes in at number 7 to partner up with Jaden Campbell. AJ Brimson locks into the centres. Oliver Pascoe is named at number 9. However, if you have a look down further at number 19, there's Sam Verrills. So I'd assume Sam Verrills can come in if fit. I'm assuming. Chris Randall, Bo Formore. I've got the 11 and 12 spots. So Arama Howe goes back to the bench. And Cooper Bye has been named at number 13, with Tino going into the prop position instead of 13. I don't know. It's a hard one, this one.
Yes.
And look, it's a disgusting bench. Moran, Fodawaker, Patson, Howe, all forwards. So the first 4 are all middle forwards. That'll Jaden Garut, a winger with the hooker, which I think, as I said, I reckon we'll swap for Oliver Pascoe. Do you own Arama Howe at all?
Yeah, I own Arama Howe, mate. I think majority of those in Supercoach surely have owned Howe. He was a good cheapie, but back on he's on the bench now. He's got that break even. What is it, about 89? Time to cash in and upgrade elsewhere for sure.
Yeah, I'm like you. I do own. I owned right from the get go. I'll be definitely selling this week. I just say, for instance, if Sam Verrills if they're running with 2 hookers, then that means that one of those first 4 named forwards is going to have to drop out and won't see any game time. Patson's been really knocking the door down hard. Fodawaker's not going to miss out, and neither's Moran. So, it's a risk, isn't it?
It's definitely a risk, but yeah, it's not one I'd be wanting to market around with. On what you're talking about before, Zane Harrison, the halfback, coming in this week. I've heard a lot of good things about him in the junior grades. He's a great young up-and-coming talent, so it'd be good to get a look at him, and could be a potential cheapie there to keep an eye on your radar. Especially if you've got a Atkinson sitting there. Might be an upgrade in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, that is good. I'm running with the Hines Cleary double. But that doesn't mean I can't slot one down into flex. That's what the beautiful thing about flex, and bring in a cheapie, but it's not on my radar just yet, because my flex is Ponga, and hopefully he's going to be making some money there.
See Ramsey getting a run as well too. Good to see him back in the NRL, getting a start in the wing there.
All right, now we've just got a message there, Joey Olchen from the Ruck Infringement. Good to see Watto fronting up after his team lost. Timmy, nowhere to be seen.
Loss is an understatement, Joey. That was an absolute flogging. I was expecting them to lose after all the injuries and the suspension to Appy, but oh god, I wasn't expecting it to be a flogging that bad. That was a car crash.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the best, but I think there are some good excuses for it, personally. But this week is going to look. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that game. G'day, Joey. Thanks for that. Bit of your little insight there. All right. So for the Cows versus Parramatta. Oh, geez, I would be, if you got any Cows player this week, I would be playing them. That includes Jackson Purdue and Tom Chester. Make sure you play them. Jake Clifford is a great option in at 5'8" as well, although he is pretty expensive, just underneath 700,000. But they're very settled in their back line there, and to tell you the honest truth, they're pretty settled in the front row or in their forwards. Although Sam McIntyre does come in for Jeremy Nanai, who is now out with a subluxation shoulder or whatever they call it when you sort of do that.
Yeah. Dislocation goes back in. Yeah.
So he's gone again. But the bench extended best. You've got Xavier Kerris, who's a young fella, a young hooker. Another team that's running with 3 hookers, because you've got Sony Luke and you've got Reid Mahoney. So somebody's going to miss out on some time somewhere there. Thomas McHaley at about 440,000. Has got some followers and some people that are bringing him in this week. He does have a fairly low BE, so he's not the worst one at all. Any interest there in Thomas McHaley?
Thomas McHaley. To be honest, I haven't even looked into him at the moment, Brad. I want to have a little flick about and have a look at him, but I probably wouldn't go there personally. But yeah,
well, last week he did get 75. I'll just bring him up here because he is quite interesting. Where is he? Where is he? He's not too far. Okay, here we go. Thomas McHaley. Last week, he got 75. He currently has a BE of 19, so nice and cheap. His last three scores are 45, 57, 75, all on the back of increased minutes. So his minutes have been steadily climbing up. 50, yeah. So he's 58, 66, 45, 57, and 75 are his last five scores. There's some good scoring going on there for only a player in his 400,000. And he's obviously, I've been following Thomas McHaley for a few years because he is a PPM monster. He can certainly rack up some good scores with a limited amount of minutes. I thought they might actually start him, because I have been starting him occasionally too. They've been flicking some players around there.
As you said, he's got a great work rate. Beast for sure. That's I agree with you. There's one that's definitely flying under the radar, and one you could definitely get on for cheap.
Like I said, he will have his followers for that one. There'll be some people getting onto him. I personally wouldn't touch anybody who is in the Parramatta team. Volkman still retains his spot at number 6, which means Pezzett is likely to. Did he even get named? No. So he's playing New South Wales Cup yet again. Yeah. Samarami is back for what's his name? The
Will
Penasini, that's it. Yeah. So Jordan Samarani comes in for Penasini there.
Groin injury, I believe, Penasini.
A lot of people are going this Saxon Pike. They're going Arama Howe down to him in the front row because he's cheap. So they're cashing in and netting themselves around about 250,000. Is the difference between the two. I get it. If you need the cash, I guess it might be an okay thing to do, but he's going to slowly.
He's a plotter.
He's not going to be a great number for you, that's for sure. He's not going to.
Slow burn for sure.
Absolutely. And if you're in draft, you would stay right away from him, trust me. It'd be the worst sort of thing you could get, but there's nothing flash there to talk about with Parramatta, is there?
Yeah, here's the only one you really talk about if you're looking for a downgrade. Like he could be a good cheapie for you. Just free up some cash. You're looking for an upgrade one of your CTWs, or upgrade to a better fullback. Get a KP in this week, maybe.
The Dragons and the Knights is the Saturday 3:00 game that kicks off the Super Saturday. The Dragons are coming off the back of a bye, so they should be nicely rested. Clint Gutherson gets back to being number 1, which means Tyrell Sloan drops out. Setter 2 retains his wing spot, which is good because I still own him, as do a lot of other people. Atkinson's still there, stinking up everyone's team. Cade Reed gets his second start in the halfback spot. No sign of Kyle Flanagan whatsoever. He's down. He's down there, 18. And Tyrell Sloan is number 19. So they've both been relegated down there. Right, both the Couchmans are in and starting. We love that. Now, this could be, if the Dragons struggle yet again, I hope Newcastle front up. Kalen Ponga, obviously, for his second game back. Most of these blokes are second game back from an injury. Marju, very, very popular. I think he's 640K, but he's expected, obviously, on the back of his big score last week to make a bit of cash. You're probably only going to get about an increase of about 100 grand over 3 weeks. So if you see anybody else you like, because Newcastle don't have the best rival, the best
They're best by-
you buy sort of yeah.
I'll tell you what, I think I'd rather Bradman best for the price. There's a bit of a pod.
Yeah, no, that is a nice pod there actually. We'll have a quick look at the most traded in shortly, but I think both of them are actually featuring on there. And no Kalen Ponga, which is quite surprising. Trey Mooney is kicking sand in my face after I sold him, and now he's actually doing something. But
Brutal.
it's all on the back of scoring tries. It's not in his minutes. So if he's
Not
going to keep
sustainable.
plodding along at 40 minutes, yeah.
He's not going to be scoring tries every week, that's for sure. That's especially not doubles either.
Oh, so Darren said, Darren Morton, g'day, Daz. He said that Pezzett was suspended. Must have got suspended in New South Wales Cup. Probably tripped over his bottom lip and after losing his job to Volkers. Though Volkman is a quality player, I've got to tell you. I have been following his career closely for about 3 years now. He's just had a wretched run, but I do like Volkman. And Timmy O'Connor, evening gents, just home from footy training. What's the news? Well, we're trying to fill you in, Tim. We're trying our best. What's the news? Go and have a look at the Titans team. That's the first step. Both Rama Howe and Fame Army should be sells for you, mate. So we'll give you that tip. Dylan Lucas, a few people obviously looking there at him as well. Anybody else in this Newcastle team you like?
Yeah, Fletcher Sharp at the price he's at now, I think he's great. 5'8" if you want to go a Pezzett to a Fletcher Sharp, I think that's a sensational trade.
Yeah, he's in about 390, isn't he? He's like got ridiculously cheap.
I think he's like low 400s, but yeah, he's ridiculously cheap. And now that they've got the whole band back together, I think you're going to see him run the football a lot more, and it's going to, they're going to smash that left side the Knights with Ponga on the sweep, and he's going to benefit as well as, like your Marjus and your Best as well too. You want to have something on this Knights left edge for sure.
Yeah, he's 486. Sorry, he's just the low. Yeah, 486, 71 BE. So you could wait a week. He's not really going to.
Against the Dragons, I think he's a good chance to hit that.
Oh, absolutely. If he gets on a run, I mean, it is the Dragons they're playing. So, no, absolutely. All right. So you never know, though. The Dragons might do something. This is going to be a crackerjack of a game. Rabbitohs versus the Sharks.
Just going back quickly, Brado. Can I say there's Christian Tuipulotu? Is he in the? He's in the extended squad there as well too. Could come in.
There he is, number 22. Good spotting. Yeah, Christian Tuipulotu is number 22 there on the way back. I would assume would he come into?
Come in for Figo, I would assume, but 2 has dropped out before too. So just keep an eye before the hour cut off before to see if Tuipulotu does come in. It might be something you have to have your finger on the pulse on.
That would be a damn shame for 2 because he's actually been one of the few that's actually been having a real good crack.
Yeah, made some good catch for us.
Yeah, his work rate has been high and he's been really running it back with vigor and doing the things that the forwards aren't doing at the Dragons when the backs are against the wall. Now, South Sydney at home to Cronulla, so it's almost a home match to both of them. Jai Gray returns in the number 1 spot, so he goes back to fullback. Alex Johnson, Latrell Mitchell, Campbell Graham. Ed Cozzy comes in on the other wing. And number 7, Ashton Ward comes in. Do you know much about Ashton at all there, Watto?
He played a little bit when Humphreys was injured last year. He filled in there for a bit, and he wasn't too bad of a prospect. He'll do a job. He'll be solid, but I'll be looking at as far as a Supercoach perspective.
No, does that mean there's extra pressure on Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell?
Well, there always is, isn't there? How dominant they are on that left side, but yeah, he'll do it. He'll still do a job. He'll be fine, Ashton Ward.
And of course, this big ship around means that Campbell Graham moves into his favoured centre position. Yeah.
Sure does.
So he'll be enjoying the centre rather than being trapped out in the wing, which he was not really a winger, but certainly did a very good job. Latrell Mitchell has got 500s in a row, plus 100 Supercoach scores. Can he go 6?
And $1 million now too. How ridiculous is that for a centre? That's just outrageous.
Yeah. If you don't have him, delete the app.
Yeah. Did you captain him this week, Brado?
What's that?
Did you captain him the week that just went?
No.
Neither did I.
No, I wasn't Cleary. I still got my scores up there on the screen, so I didn't go too badly, but yeah, it would have been nearly 100 points better off if I did captain Latrell rather than captaining Cleary. But I thought Cleary over a bit of an understrength Manly team would
Manly. Yeah.
should have actually carved up there, but it was ended up being, as all Manly games are at the moment, a really slugfest. Just
No grind.
Yeah, just a grind. And ever since Foreign's taken over, that's what all the games have been like. It hasn't gone to these big, flashy, wide, crazy moves and set pieces. Instead, they're just a real grinding affairs. And unfortunately, didn't get the score I wanted. Now in the forwards there, Ewan Aiken comes in to 11, Sean Kepi into 10, Colin Matangi moves up to starting back in the front row, which I actually like. I actually like this forward pack a lot better than what they had been running. Matt Duffy moves back to the interchange bench with Hubner. Jamie Humphreys is named in the interchange bench at 16. Tavita Totola, Peter Mamazoulis, and Adam Elliott in at number 19. Boy, that's a strong bench. There's going to be a few of them missing out, eh? Like, who the hell is going to not get to play?
That'll be a good question. Yeah, it's where I guess Humphreys is really only going to be there if there's a halves injury, really, isn't it? Because you got Mamazoulis there to play hooker. I don't think, well, Humphreys could play hooker, but I don't think they're going to do
that. So Humphreys, it looks like, so that they've dropped Humphreys, have they, for Ashton Ward?
That's what it looks to be. That Ashton Ward's ahead in the pecking order to me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Ross has tuned in. He says, "G'day, Watto. Up the Tigers."
Up the Tigers, Ross. Hopefully a better week this week, mate.
And Timmy is asking, will Lucas play Origin though, boys? Well, yeah, we're not selectors.
So I don't. Not selectors, but I don't think so. I think there's a fair few ahead of him.
Yeah, I think there's a few lining up to be ahead of him. Just lack of game time, I think. I think he'll be there and about. So if there's any injury or anything, certainly. Now, as far as
maybe
Cronulla,
game 2, maybe.
Yeah. Game 2, I think, would look more likely, particularly if there's an injury. The Cronulla team in the back line, very settled indeed. Talakai, which I thought Talakai might be moving to the bench, and Raymond would be back, but Raymond is not even named in any of the interchange benches or anything, so he is not back as yet. The forwards, again, are reasonably settled. However, Britton Okora is actually named to start this week, which is a slight change. So his price is, I might just quickly have a look at that.
That's 370, I believe, something thereabouts. It's dirt cheap, but I wouldn't go near him. Him and Burns are just sharing minutes. It's just you can't touch either of them, really.
342,000. I don't know.
40. I couldn't do it. Still couldn't do it. His minutes too heavily affected, and he's just he needs 80 minutes to be relevant, really.
He's got a BE of 61, so you don't have to make a decision this week, folks, but I would be definitely having him in your black book, definitely having a look at that. He could be, if you've got a Rama Howe in your second row, you could downgrade to him, and it would not be a bad move, Watto.
No, I'm going to knock it, mate. I personally wouldn't. I personally wouldn't go there.
What about for draft? Would you be sneakily having a look?
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that. I dropped him a couple of weeks ago in draft. because I was just absolutely sick of him stinking it up, playing 20 minutes off the bench. Like, this is not it.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's one you could stash. You could stash him for sure. For a draft, I'd stash him. But yeah, Billy Burns got injured, like, for sure. I'd say, yeah, bring him in. But yeah, too risky for me.
The Sharks also have a very strong bench. This could be the match of the round for me. I can't pick it.
Gonna be a great game.
Both these teams are going to be fairly heavily affected by Origin. Actually, the Cronulla's not going to be that affected, but they don't have the best draw really. So
No.
they do miss one of the early Origin games. So there are a few other teams. And here's one of them. Manly play the first two games over the Origin bye period. So they play both 12 and 13, which is a massive thing for them. Tautakula is still at the back. In fact, they look very settled there. There's no changes there to them. Ethan Bullimore comes into the 10. Paseka.
Jackson Sherrill on the bench. Yeah.
Nothing much changes there. Jackson Sherrill, yeah, he comes in. That Ethan Bullimore happens because there's an injury to Kobe Hetherington.
Yeah, Hetherington.
So he's gone out. So that's why Bullimore is now starting, which means that Jackson Sherrill comes into the team there. Now the Broncos, Timmy's Broncos. Timmy, you're going to be crying on late Saturday. Manly aren't very good at late Saturday games, but you'll still be crying.
Just one thing first. You got Fogarty coming back into, and Walsh going back to the bench is the other.
Yes. Sorry, didn't. Yeah. Fogarty. It was just. Yeah, Fogarty comes back in as a starting half, as he would be, because he's a big money man. And Joey Walsh. That's a pretty impressive start. I don't know if you saw it, but it's.
Yeah, he was good. Starting at halfback, he's going to be a great one for you for the future, Joey Walsh.
He just needs to grow into his body a bit, 19 years of age, but he's not the smallest of lad either, but he's still a bit gangly. I think once he matures a bit more, I like how they're taking their time with him, not rushing it, but because it worries me about Jack Reed. You know, he's obviously needs another year under his belt to develop a bit more body, but
Cade Reed. Jack Reed. Cade Reed.
Oh, Cade Reed. Who did I say?
Jack Reed.
Jack Reed. Geez, there's a name from the past. Anyway, wasn't Jack Reed? Didn't he play for the Broncos or something?
Yeah, Broncos. Yeah, he's a center for the Broncos. Yeah, he's not a handy player. He's not a bad handy player.
That's what an old head like me does. I forget things. Antonio Verbenhoven. There you go, Timmy. Hope you like my pronunciation there. He comes on to the wing for the Broncos. Jesse Arthurs has been named into the centres. He was a bit banged up there late, so I'm not sure if that's going to stick.
Duffy halfback.
Duffy goes into halfback. The jet ski in at number 10, with the Willison going into the second row. So there's a bit of a change around, yeah.
Wilson was playing back row last week as well too, and he switched to the middle. Yeah, switched into the middle in the second half. Yeah.
And just have a look at that bench. Like
it's not great.
That's just
it is.
That's when I'm tipping off and look at the benches in order to try to figure out which team is going to be best. But Josh Rogers, Preston Ricky, Val Semu, Orbelix Tawa, which they're trying to get the best out of him. Certainly he's a prospect on the rise, but Hayes Perham and Phil Coates, not very flash there, Timmy.
Not a flash one. They're all there for the Broncos, is it? They're going to be heavily injury affected. Might be a rough week for them, but I mean, they were pretty depleted last week and they still had a good crack.
And yes, Darren, I think I did say the Broncos, didn't I? Yeah. Oh, Tim. Might not be a good week for you. Let's hope Manly win after I've given it to them. But I'll be up there at Magic Round in about 2 weeks' time. But you going to Magic Round at all, Watto?
No, mate. I would have loved to go, but don't quite have the funds to go this year, unfortunately.
We'll get you up there one year.
Get the, all my
All right.
priorities. And,
You want to go through the Tigers and Storm?
yeah, I'll go through this one, mate. So yeah, so we're pretty well similar at in the backs for the Storm. They're exactly as named. We just got the only change, sorry, being Jerome Hughes coming in and Wishart going out with the ankle injury. Then in the forwards packs, starting packs still the same. Bloor and Lasardi in there as well too. We're just going down through to the bench, Brado. We got Stanley Juan coming in. I've never heard of him. I'm not sure about you if you know much about him, but
Nothing.
yeah, pretty well. Apart from that, it's the same bench as named last week. I don't think there'll be much of a change there. You got Jack Howarth in the reserves as well, though. Oh, not Jack Howarth, sorry, Jack Hetherington. He's one that could slot into the bench, maybe. So keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, pretty well. Yeah, Hughes is coming in. It's the only real change there for them. And my Tigers, we are heavily decimated. Heath Mason coming in at fullback. I'm not a fan of that. I think they should have left Taruva there, and we should have had a Jarrell Skelton coming in on the wing. But anyway, I'm not the one picking the team. We got Taruva reverting back to the wing. Patrick Herbert comes in for Starford. I'm a turnstile tower. And we got Jock Madden coming in for Adam Dewey as well too. Tristan Hope's still there at hooker while Appy's out suspended still. You got Sione Fainu coming in to replace his brother Samuela. So he's one there at about 330k, and I think could be a great cheapie there. Brado, with the reports of it's up to 12 weeks potentially.
What for Samuela? 12 weeks. Well, I lost you, Watto. You there?
You there? Yep, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back now. Yep.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah. Was that? Did you say 12 weeks
back.
for Samuela?
That's the report I've seen recently. This afternoon, NRL Physio in his chat was saying it could potentially be up to 12 weeks for Liz Frank or navicular fracture. But yeah, waiting scans to finalise that one. But not looking good for him. And we got Kai Pearce-Paul coming back in off the HIA, so it'll be good to have him back. Twal locking down. Twal's been unreal, and he's just like you said, he's one you just got to own this season.
Yes, if you don't own him, you can go how to Twal, and it probably isn't going to be the worst thing in the world. Alex Seyfarth, who is he slept with the coach's daughter or something? Like what's he done wrong?
Alex Seyfarth's just a penalty machine. Like he's a bit too overly aggressive, I think, and that's why he just spends most of his days on the bench now as well. Yeah, and we've got Bunty Afoa coming in there as well too, and Maverick Geyer, Jarrell Skelton. Well, they're on the bench, so is going to be any changes there, but it'll be interesting to see on game day who actually does play, whether Bunty Afoa or maybe Maverick Geyer gets a run. So yeah, see how that one plays out.
It's Maverick. It's his new club, of course, and this would be his first game for the new club. He certainly did show some glimpses of promise here and there previously. So, Jesus, it'd be quite interesting because he's going to have to go on as a middle forward where he often played on an edge over at Penrith. So it'd be interesting to see how he's used.
Yeah, I think that more go.
All right. And I actually like the back line. I tell you, I prefer Taruva on a wing rather than at fullback. And yes, I know Heath Mason's a small body and he can be run over the top of, but I don't think he's the worst fullback. He's an actual fullback, so it means you can catch a ball. I don't think it's the worst.
I would have liked to see Jack Addard there, but he got injured. Unfortunately, he's been absolutely carving it up in New South Wales Cup. One that come over from Panthers. He's one to keep an eye on for the future.
And he got injured, did he? Well, I have heard a bit about him. All right, the Raiders versus the Panthers. That's the second game. Was this the final game? I think it is of the weekend.
Yeah.
Going to be a hell of a game, this one too. Jed Stewart is still named on the wing. He's going to be facing up against Tom Jenkins. I tell you what, I think I know who's going to come out on top there.
Yes.
It's all stock standard there for the Raiders in the back line, though. I can't see any changes there that have taken place. In the Canberra do have a bye coming up, by the way. So, but then after the bye, they've got a pretty clear run
Yeah.
of games over that Origin period. So, don't buy any of these Canberra players this week, although keep a good eye on Joey Tapine.
Yeah.
You should have probably bought him 2 weeks ago when he got real cheap, but do keep an eye on him because over this Origin period, he certainly will be good. Semi Suagi stays on a edge, and looking at how this, looking at the interchange bench, I can't see him not playing 80 minutes there.
No.
Owen Paddy, Dane Laurie, Ada Mariota, Morgan Smithies. Yeah, they're not going to pop onto an edge. So both him and Hudson Young is obviously returning after his little spell. So I can't see any of them. Jaden Brayley and Morgan Smithies might swap
Yeah.
close to game time. Ricky does do weird things like that, and it's not actually too weird because Morgan Smithies is a bit of a tackle bot. So would be better than Jaden Brayley, I would think. What do you think? Yeah,
I agree with that. That could be a change there coming in. Jaden Brayley coming off the bench for sure.
Now for this Panthers team, very, very settled. There's nothing to talk about in the back line whatsoever. And in fact, I can't really see anything in the forward line either. The only thing is Jack Cogger, of course, is not being named because he's been suspended. Jack Cole, Scott Sorensen, Liam Henry, and Isaac Targo, Billy Phillips, and Billy Scott make up the bench there. Anything you like in this mob?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that Nathan Cleary's, your halfback one. Like, you got to have Cleary in your halfback spot, and if you don't, like, break your bank to get him. Hudson Young as one I probably wouldn't go on coming so close to Origin period. Would have been nice to have him earlier, but yeah. Apart from that, you got to keep an eye on Jenkins as well too. He's losing a fair bit of cash, so he's one that you can, you could grab him, and the amount of tries he's pumping out is just ridiculous. Like, it's like, can he keep this up for the rest of the season? Another one I've got I started with was Casey McLean. He's been a great pod, but he's starting to lose a little bit of cash now. So he's one you could potentially look at flipping up to, like a Herbie if you don't have a Herbie, or Kale Eero is a good one to get on this week. Or you could potentially just hold him if you're holding your faith in Panthers, just still hammering that left edge. Brian Tyler is another one starting to come up in price a little bit too, and he started to find it in a few tries lately. Is one you could look at if you really wanted a pod. But Matty Tomoko is one I really like as a pod, Brado, and I think he'll be one that would be great over the Origin period and for that bye coverage.
Matty Tomoko, I hadn't even thought about him as a I guess because he struggled to even make the team earlier.
Exactly. We know his pedigree.
Well, his last two games have been outstanding, haven't they? There's no way you could leave him out of the centre spot now.
Yeah.
The only way Semi will be going back there is if there's an injury to either Tomoko or to Chris, I would imagine. All right, so that's all the teams for this week. Now, Bergs does have a question there. He wants to know who Jags a bench spot for both Origin sides. Who Jags a bench? Mate, Jesus. Why don't you ask us an easy one, mate?
There's a few names you put up there, especially with the I think the biggest question is for New South Wales is who's going to be in that back row, Brado, then to who's going to be on your bench. You're going to have Olakawadu in question there. Liam Martin's out at the moment, but he's an incumbent, and same with, Angus Crichton, who I I wouldn't be picking Angus Crichton this year, especially with him going on to Union. I think Jacob Preston's another good prospect who could be he could either start or be on the bench there. You're going to have Hudson Young as well. He's going to be in there as well too. I reckon Adam Dilley, before he got injured, was probably a good pick for a bench spot, but not now.
My smoky would be Max Plath for the Maroons.
Yeah.
I think Plath would be a good bench utility. And who gets the bench utility? Let's just narrow it down to a utility value. Do you reckon they stick with Connor Watson? He's barely seeing much. I don't know. He's getting a bit of game time, but he's not the best form. Do you think Connor Watson grabs it?
Or maybe Matt Burton, maybe. That's, who knows.
I like Matt Burton, but it's like he's upset someone there again. Another one.
I think you'll definitely see him run with the two hookers of Robson and Brayley as well too. Brayley definitely be there on the bench in New South Wales.
Brayley. So, well, that means if you're running either Grant or Brayley, you might be in a bit of trouble. But I think I might just I'm going to hold Grant over the Origin period because it's only your best 13 that have to count. So it doesn't matter if you've got somebody in a non-scoring position. So until I absolutely have to, I think I'm probably just going to keep running the one hooker as I am. You never know, Brandon Smith might come alive at some point.
Is Twal the smoky for New South Wales? Could we see Twal?
I don't think he's just smoky. I think he's in, a bit like Jackson Ford. People go, oh, you reckon Jackson Ford will make it?
Jackson Ford's a lot.
I can't see him not. Yeah, I can't see him not. All right, and most man.
Terrell May surely got to get a run with Haas out as well too. So I think Jackson Ford on the bench and possibly Alex Twal as well too.
Yeah, well, with a 6-man bench, I think you've got to remember that now. It's not a 4-man bench; it's a 6-man bench. So I'd say the 6-man bench. Yeah, you're right.
Callum Ponga and Walsh, should you say, flip a coin who you want as your fullback, and the other one's probably going to be the bench. I'd say they'd probably go with KP on the bench more than likely, just being that he's just coming back from injury.
Well, KP has come off the bench in Origin before, and I don't know if you remember it, but he actually made an absolute bean of it. He was fucking fantastic and killed us as a Blues supporter, and I think it was the first ever game that he played.
Filiaki as well. So Fine Filiaki too surely is a bolter to get into that Queensland team. The form he's in at the moment is just unreal.
Oh, I think I think he's him and Lukey are definitely they're really scratching for edges in the Queensland team. So yeah, I definitely say those two were in the mix. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you own Helam Lukey, you're probably going to be moving him on. But I want to know first before moving him on, because the Cowboys are actually one of the better teams to own over that early buy period. They pay both 11, 12, 13, all of those where we're going to be scratching for numbers. So it will, Helam Lukey definitely got my be watching to see. I'll be selling if he gets picked, that's for sure. All right, Yep.
I already have sold him, mate. I didn't start with Herbie, and I've been regretting that all year. And I ended up flipping Simi Sasungi down my back row, and I flicked Lukey up to Herbie there, because you can't just not have Herbie, especially that buy coverage.
Yeah. No, that sounds smart as. The most sold this week, Arama Howe makes sense. Mark Nikawaze makes sense. Adam Dewey, all injured. Fayamami, he's also makes sense. Keanu Keeney, I don't actually get this one. Again, the Titans actually play those tricky buy rounds of 12 and 13. They play both of them. So I personally, but I guess if it's to get an absolute gun that you have to get in.
So most of the people going to KP, I would assume, as well too, being how highly brought in he is this week.
Yeah, well, Keanu Keeney is 694K, so he's nearly 700. So yeah, you are going to bank a bit of cash by going down to KP. Absolutely. Noah Martin, people still holding on to him. Thomas Jenkins, number 7, makes sense to sell him now. He has peaked. If you don't want to, if you're not going to hold him for the whole year, if you don't think he's a keeper, get on the train, sell him now, and bank your cash. Joe Chan, that just be people holding on to him. How's this? Matt Duffy. He's one of the most brought in players last week, and now he's one of the most sold players.
Oh, can't believe that. Eh?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
we knew that Jago was coming back soon, but everyone thought you might get an extra week or two. I think it's unfortunate if you jumped on it last week. He was one I looked at going Atkinson to him last week, but I ended up bringing in Xavier Wilson instead and got rid of Colquhoun and just watched Colquhoun score a try. So that was sensational.
Colquhoun, another one where I wasn't patient enough. I should have been more patient, and both him and Mooney. I regret both of those two. But anyway, the most brought in this weekend, well, you just mentioned him, and you're probably right that that's what they're doing. KP, Kalen Ponga, is the most brought in at the moment. Jack Bostock, number 2. Nico Hines, oh, God, you're paying nearly $900K for him. Kale Iro, that's really bizarre. Again, 2 weeks ago, he's most sold, and now he's the most bought. He's number 4 on the most bought in. Big shout out to Roscoe there, because I know Ross had him and sold him a couple of weeks ago.
Lucky
He'd be spewing. We did mention this one earlier. Greg Marju at 562K. That's why you're buying him in, because he's got a nice BE of 24, which he's easily going to make. So he's going to be making a bit of cash. He'll probably get up to around about 650 or something like that. So he's going to make a good 100 odd K. But just be wary. The Knights don't have the best buy coverage there at all. Alex Twile, we just mentioned him at 750. Simi Siagi, people still trying to do that. Your mate Fletcher Sharp, one of the most bought in at number 8.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
I do get. This one I don't really get. Jonathan Sewer.
Jonathan Sewer, I'd say that's probably just people still holding on to like your Moses Leos and your Hamisi Makassini's, just looking to bring a cheapie in just to get rid of them for an extra number. He's going to make a bit. He's going to make a bit of cash while Karaz is out for 4 to 6 weeks with that MCL. Karaz, was it?
Yeah, it is about that. And look, he's got -5 BE. I get it, but surely you're not going to play him. It's a team that's struggling to score points, and being a winger, he needs the points out wide. His scores so far, 41, 50, and 44. So that's very consistent. There's a couple of tries in there too. So, he's not going to break records, but I suppose I get it. But 260s.
Sorry, brother. He's had that almost try as well to Bronson Sherry last week, but he fumbled that.
Yeah. And Trey Mooney is in at number 10, which is, again, people bringing him back. That's just, I don't agree with that one quite clearly. Okay. He's never going to score 2 tries again. I mean, yes, he is a try scorer, but you're just chasing last week's points on that one, yeah?
Yeah, you got to look at the minutes and just, exactly. He's not going to be scoring tries every week, but I'm assuming that's a lot of people just going Howe out and bringing him in. If you're trading out Howe, Brad, who are you looking to go to?
At the moment, I'm considering a couple of different options. Certainly, McKaylee is one, who I did mention earlier. And I think as well, Cooper Bye at the Titans could also be a very serious consideration. Every time he takes a field, he looks like a world beater. He's passing the eye test big time. The fact that Tino's moved into the front row and that he's giving Bye a starting spot at the 13, to me means I probably would ditch Howe and go maybe to Cooper Bye, bank that couple of $100,000 you've just made for yourself, and just good buy schedule. And that's anything you buy now, just if you're playing even if you're playing head to head, you want to be considering those mini buys as well as the big buys, and those mini buys can be very tricky. So you want teams like the Titans who have got 2 games, Titans, Cowboys, Manly, they all play in those early buy rounds every game. So yeah, certainly, yeah, Cooper buy. You only have to hold him for 3 or 4 weeks, and you can fuck him off at about round 15 when they do have their next buy, and yeah, happy days.
If you're looking for a pod,
Yeah.
I think at Tarpanay and Tate moment is only up 10% ownership.
Yeah, and of course Twal. Absolutely. I love Tarpanay, but yeah, the only reason I didn't mention him there, and I would have otherwise, was because I'm already a Tarpanay owner. I got him a couple of weeks ago when he was dirt cheap. He's still not scoring through the roof, but I think it was 72 last week, so it's enough. And particularly if Hudson Young and a few others are going to be disappearing, then Tarpanay usually comes into his best form, and always at around about Origin time he seems to, have that nice steady incline in minutes and points.
And what about Fayamani? Training out Fayamani this week. Who are you looking to go to?
Well, there's 3, and one of them's a pod of these 3. Bostock, I can understand people why they're doing it. The other one, of course, is Marju. Again, I can understand cheap-ish. Bostock's cheaper. He's at 506, I think. As we said, Marju is at 560, 564, I think it was. So but both those 2 are reasonably cheap. A little bit more than that, right, but not much more, is one Kaola at Manly, the fullback there now. He's going to have that fullback run for a little bit, and I think that over the next few weeks, Brisbane this week, Tigers, I think the following week after that, or somebody special like that. I'm waiting for you to jump through the screen at me then. I'll tell you who they've got. The run for a fullback isn't. It might even be the Eels again. Let me just. Yeah, here we go. So they've got, as I said, Broncos at home. Then West Tigers. I was right. West Tigers up at Magic Round. Then the Gold Coast. Back at 4 Pines. Sharks away will be tough. South Sydney back at 4 Pines. Bulldogs, who are leaking big points.
Yeah, especially fullbacks and wingers.
So, and then around about that time anyway, you possibly would sell him, because it's he's not going to be a keeper. So he should have. He's not going to lose your money. His BE is around about, I think, 76 or something like that. So 70 or 80, somewhere around there, which I think he can easily make this weekend against that Wigan Broncos team. So they're my 3. Anyway, you got any that you're looking at there?
Yeah, I've got a fair few. I've got a couple of pods here. I spoke about earlier, Matt Tomoko, with their buy schedules for the Raiders and the form he's coming in the moment. I think he's a great one. I think Talon May is one to definitely keep your eye on as well too, of him coming back. As well too, running off Luai when Luai likes to pass the ball. I think he's a great shout. And then trying to remember who the third one was. It's absolutely slipped mine now. It's lost me at the moment. I'll try and see if I can find who it was. As well though, if you got Jules, you could flip him up to a KP if you got the Jules there in the flex.
All right, so we've got a couple more questions. I like the Tomoko one, and Taylor May certainly is one that's in my little black book at the moment. You're right on that one.
That's the other one I was thinking. Sorry, that I spoke about earlier too. Bradman Best is one I'd get on at 170.
I might go have a look at him a bit further. I didn't actually really do much on him, so I will go have a look at his figures. Now, Ross wants to know a couple of tricky questions here. What are we doing with Trell over the Origin period?
That is a
Wow, what are we doing with Trell? He's going to be $1 million. You wouldn't sell him this week or next week, but the week after that, or
couldn't
he's
argue with
definitely out for round 12 and 13. What do we do? $1 million.
there's a lot you could use, and there's a lot you could use for upgrades with that kind of cash, downgrading. But you also got to think about bringing him back. Like, you're going to be able to bring him back at his price as well too, is the thing.
You're going to be happy to have $1 million sitting there doing nothing?
That's what I was about to say. Like, I would not begrudge the sell at all. I think that's a lot of money to sit there over the Origin period. You could use that and buy him back for sure. If you've got a lot of trades there, it's not the worst idea. I mean, you're probably also Cleary will be in that similar boat as well too, especially with all the halfbacks running around at the moment that are in great form, like your Jerome Hugheses and your Sam Walkers as well too. So I think you make a case for him as well.
I think one thing and this is really tough this year, the Origin is going to suck 40 players out of the system. That's a lot more. It doesn't. I know it's only increased by 4 players, but 40 players getting sucked out for multiple games. It's a lot. It's a lot for clubs to cope with. It's a lot for super coaches to cope with as well.
Especially if you're low on boost like myself as well too.
So I think I'm going to make a decision closer to the Origin time whether I do sell or don't sell, Ross. So I don't know if it's not going to help you. I know it means I'm getting splinters up my ass by sitting on the fence, but of those 40, if there's no one really better to go to that's just standing out, that's a must-have. So I've already have Herbie, so I'm not going to go shopping for him. Does that make sense, Watto? If I don't have to, right, I might not. I might just go, nah, I'll just sit him here. It all depends upon who the players that are left. Like, say, if a Jackson Ford doesn't get selected, right, I'll sell Terrell and go get Jackson Ford. Absolutely, I will.
That's a great trade. I think if you want one of the centers, if you are gonna trade him out, is Kale Ero would be the one there by schedule who I'd go to if I was gonna make that move.
Yep. Well, he's certainly getting an elite price, and as we saw before, getting to be very well owned as well.
If you want a real left field smoky, maybe Ozako as well too.
Well, look, he has been spoken about in a lot of different chats I'm in. There's been people that have, over the last 2 weeks, been sniffing around him and subtly bringing him in. Yeah, Sarko's just a very frustrating player, isn't he?
He is. Davey, what to do with Timmy over Origin?
What do we do with Timmy over Origin? That's going to be the question. I don't know, because like Queensland are going to be losing 3-0, so he's going to be beside himself.
Going to be a whitewash. Who on that pack's going to contain the New South Wales pack?
And here's one of the and Davey's also one of the Osako loaners. He's just said that he got Osako last week. Like I said, I actually did have a look at him just before we started. He's got a fairly reasonable break even, I think. I'll just have a quick look again at him. Where are we? The Dolphins, yep. So he's here's one for the superstitious. He's $666,600.
Oh.
It's all the sixes, every single one of them. A BE of 58. So his BE is just underneath what his expected scoring is going to be. His last 3 rounds are 47, 99, 65. So he does have those 40. He's got a couple of scores in the 40s this year, but he's also got 100 in his score and a 98 as well. So there is a bit of distance between his floor and his ceiling. That's your only problem, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Another one that I've seen that a fair few people are just selling, they're looking just to cash him out now, is Jackson Purdue. Are you an owner of Jackson Purdue, Brado? And would you be selling if you owned him?
No, I wouldn't be selling, but I understand because he's leaking cash. But I think over this Origin period, there could be some good weeks coming for him. I don't think he'll be selected for Origin. If he is selected, he'll be the first sold. But he is my 5'8" at the moment, and yeah, I know he's had a couple of bad weeks at 5'8", or in the centres. And Tommy Chester's got all the glory. But I'd be holding both of those over the early buy period and then maybe making a decision a bit later. There is a couple of cheaper options coming up for grabs here at 5'8", of which one of them you had earlier. Who was that? The Fletcher Sharp. He's certainly
Fletcher Sharp.
one.
I think he's a great buy at that price. Like we were saying with that Knights left edge coming back to full strength, I can see him, scoring a few tries himself and laying a few on as well too.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced he's not playing with a bit of it. Since the injury, he certainly hasn't come back as dominant and as much of a threat as what he was prior to the injury. So, and I think he's been a bit of a glue that's kept that team together while the others were all getting back to full health. Yeah, I'd just like to see for the moment. That's my personal opinion, but I can get why. I can see a lot of people obviously have traded him in so far. And I get it, but 5'8" has been an area that just stinks anyway. It's it and Hooker are the two worst positions in Supercoach. So, yeah, both of them are just. What do you do? If you add Cody Walker, 1 week he'll give you 90, and the next week he'll give you 9. Who knows? It's Cody. He could upset anyone or drag his bottom lip on the field, trip over it, and get you 10 points. Or the next week he'll lay on 3 tries. It's a very frustrating position.
Here's one I own, Cody Walker at my 5'8". Yeah, he's a frustrating watch each week. For sure he is. But Purdue though, could he jag a sneaky bench spot for Queensland just for his versatility though?
He could, but it would be. And Queenslanders are good for pulling an Origin shock, and they are down in troops. So the guy has a mountain of talent, so he well could. Do I think he's ready? No. I think he'd be better off in serving his time in club at the moment before he does the Origin step up.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you there, Brado. Murray Taulungi's one, I think that once he comes back from concussion, I think there's a good chance that we'll see Val not retain his spot and Murray Taulungi be on that wing. Xavier Coates as well, obviously, too, for Queensland. So it's who are they going to put on that other wing?
Yeah, right. Because it's Queensland, I actually really haven't thought much.
Yeah, I was going to floor him.
I haven't thought that much at all. Davey says hard one plays 12. I'm not sure who you're talking about there, Davey. Who plays 12?
Yeah, we got an name.
But Nanai out injured. Will Lukey get an Origin spot? Yeah, mate, I think it's nearly 100%. I put 90% certainty on he will.
I think even before the injury, I still had Lukey ahead of Nanai as well too. Obviously, he's just coming back from injury, so I think on current form that Lukey would have got it no matter what anyway.
You can just rule Nanai out. Lukey one side, Finifuku Weki. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
He'll should get the other one. Yes, we are going to see massive changing of the guard. Carrigan to lock the scrum. Yeah, I think it almost picks itself, their team, to tell you honestly.
Yeah. I think, like you said, Plaff on the bench, I think that's one as well. One I just thought about for New South Wales, a bolter potentially on the bench that's got talked about a lot was Ethan Sanders. Oh, not Ethan Sanders, sorry, Ethan Strange. I mean, yeah, I've heard his name tossed about, but I personally wouldn't do it. but I can see why they're talking about it.
Oh, look, I think you could bring him into if you're going to bring in a few extra, like they sometimes do, for
that
the
extended
non-contact
just to
contested
get him
sessions,
banging
he
around
would
the
be a
team.
good one to have around the team. For those, the non-contact contested sessions where they go through their set pieces and things like that. He'd be good to have around the team and to get used to it. I'm not sure that he's quite at that point just yet.
Yeah.
I know Mitch Moses isn't going to be there.
I do not think so at all. Who would you? Who you got at your Blues 5/8 currently, Brado? Who would you have?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you're putting it to me, but Cleary and Luai do have the experience together over a long period of time, and I probably just would still pick them. It would be I'd be very, very tempted just to keep running that way. I know there might be pressure to go another way, but for me, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And don't forget, Laurie Daly has worked with Luai before and previously, and sometimes those sort of relationships do carry forward. So I wouldn't mind betting that Luai, unfortunately for you, the Tigers might get selected and might be in there. Who you got?
I was in the same boat as you, mate. That's what I was thinking too. Already having that combination is Luai and Cleary with Moses' form at the moment. Sorry, Davis just come up with a question here. Sorry if you've already spoken about who gets New South Wales front row spots. I think with Haas out, that Terrell May is definitely going to be one. Like we talked about as well too before, Jackson forward. And I think you're going to have as well too possibly Twal. I'm not sure who else you got, Redo?
Yeah, well, Terrell May was one. You're all putting me straight under the pump here. I'm going to rule Max King out because he's still injured. I'm just going up the line.
Stefano maybe.
Look, I definitely have Twal ahead of Stefano at the moment. Yeah, no, definitely, and that's without any shadow of a doubt there. Yeah, May and Twal, maybe that was the best that I can. Just putting me right on the spot. I know I'm forgetting one there somewhere. I know I am.
I think I am too, and I'm trying to remember for the life of me. And
Ross said Toby Couchman as a smoky. I 100% agree. I think he'll be part of what that Ethan Strange sort of. They'll bring them into the Origin arena and area. I would say he'll be part of the 30-man squad that will then get whittled down. I'd say he'll be brought in for experience and be in and around the team, but I don't think he'll make the bench there. But
I agree.
I don't dislike the idea. Certainly don't dislike it.
Yeah. Cam Murray will be another one likely you'd think on the bench with Yo starting at lock as well too.
Yep. No, absolutely. And of course they could always go back to. I just had one in my head and he's just dropped straight back out again. Oh God, I hate that. Oh, Fanua Blake is available as well, AFB, but his form seemingly is very average. But he's in that Cronulla. What they do with their middle forwards is they play them no more than 40 minutes each. So it makes picking any Cronulla middle forward very hard for Supercoach. But that's why you just don't really look at him. But Fanua Blake is certainly one that is now available for New South Wales, who wasn't previously under the old rules.
Yeah, I couldn't pick him on form at the moment. I'd leave him out. May and forward are mine too. I think locks.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you nearly got to have forward. And yeah, I do like May, but anyway, the Tigers are going to hate that, and they're going to hate Jerome missing him too.
Is what it is.
All right, folks, well, that's just about us done. Thank you very much for all your questions coming in. I hope you enjoyed a bit of a different Team List Tuesday. Thank you very much, Watto. I hope you have a great weekend coming up, mate. You got anything more today?
Mate, just want to give a quick few shout outs before I go. Just want to shout out to the Finders Keepers draft comp over there as well too. Big dynasty comp over there. Get amongst into that. The Weekly Rubdown podcast as well too. If you're a draft bloke like myself, that's always a great one to get your draft information from. And also the League of Inches with Joel over there. It's always a great podcast to listen to. And just a shout out to my $50 cash comp as well too. All the boys over there, I know there are a few of them tuning in tonight.
Yep, I'm certainly a part of them. Thank you very much, Watto, and all those boys, and Joey from the Ruck Infringement League of Inches boys. We were always very deep in chat. All the Legends boys, thank you very much. Till next time, stay safe and race straight your ass off.